I wanted to just go over a couple maps that were turned in previous years just to talk about some things you might think about while you're working on your project. Um, so this first map has more associated buildings than I really needed. I really only wanted maybe this first row around the houses. So what happened is that the park is smaller than it should be. So there's more emphasis on the neighborhoods and not the park. So I really would have wanted you to, let's see, can I zoom in here? I don't know. To zoom in, a little bit more like that and be able to look at the park. When you do that, you can see that there are some pretty crude lines on this map. Remember, you're making a generalization, so one of the things that we practiced is trying to make square buildings. And so if you click the vertices in this way, you're going to get buildings that are off-center and that are not square, and they look more amateurish. Again, here is a sidewalk that probably doesn't really narrow like that. So this one is got quite a few problems with it as well. Let me see if I can scroll back into 100% again. The use of black, big north arrow, those things are not all that helpful. In fact, they're not good, not all that helpful. I cannot move this up, but there's underscores in the projection. The legend looks fine. Building type, ground cover, so it gives you some detail about the park. This map is a much more accurate location. So although there was not a lot of park information on this one, so you might want to make sure you choose a park where you're going to be able to actually have something to show in the park. The other thing about this is these sidewalks were digitized in pieces, which makes sense, but the pieces were never merged together, and I can see that with those lines here. There are, if you zoom in on some of this, you can see some gaps here, for instance. Here's another line of a background that didn't get merged. There's a gap here in that sidewalk. So it looks pretty rough. Most of the buildings are straight. This one is not. So that you just really want to have attention to that detail. And then the other one here, again, none of these buildings are square. And you would have square buildings. So you're not going to be able to get the exact shape of the buildings because you're using an air photo, and the air photo is offset from the building, so you're not getting a true complete footprint. So you're going to have to do some generalization here. And the sidewalks or the driveways here, it's just not a great map. Also, there's no name, no projection information with this map at all. The last one to take a look at is this one. I'm going to go to 50 so you can see it's a little faded out, but this one probably could have even cut it down on the east and west edge so that they're only doing part of the buildings. You really want to just show that suggestion, but you can see that in general this has fairly nice arcs to the park area. There's no gaps in here that I'm seeing when I'm looking at the sidewalks and the driveways. So really try to apply your tools and make it as easy on you as possible, so you really can cut your image area so that you've got the park and then just a portion of the houses on either side of that park. Again, I don't think this one has, yeah, it does. It has the projection, it has the date and the name. I don't know if there's a north arrow. Well, let me go back and look. There, oh, there it is. There's a north arrow and the scale. So those are nice in there, and the information that they need. So just some things to think about, that you want as professional and a look as you can, and you're not going to get it exactly. What you're going to be able to do is generalize, but you don't want your digitizing to take away from what you're trying to show.